Iran is now extending support to Palestine. These are breaking inputs that we are bringing to you. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader Khamenei is saying that Iran supports Palestinians' attack on Israel. So clearly, Iran going on to extend its support to Palestinians in this conflict, which seems to be escalating by the hour. For more details, let's quickly go back to Abhishek. Abhishek, in that video that has been released by the Hamas commander, he's gone on to talk about how forces in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria need to be galvanized. And remember, these militant movements that are being run, whether it's Lebanon, Hezbollah, or if we look at what's happening in Iraq or Syria, they're also being supported by Iran. And if you look at support coming from Iran at the moment, what is one to make of this situation?
Well, the situation looks very grim, and if it could escalate, it will be another Gulf War situation where we can see Israelis being cornered by several of its neighbor countries, including Israel, Lebanon, and Iraq, with which Israel doesn't have a very good relationship. In fact, with the Iranian regime, Israel has a very fierce enmity, and they have been calling Iranian regime as a terrorist regime. They have been very alert on possible attack or possible, espionage cases from the Iranian side also, and they have always said that Iranians have backed Hamas soldiers or Hamas freedom fighters or terrorists by their weapons, by their ammunition, and all sort of technical assistance. The kind of attack that we have seen today happening is not something that could come without any international backing or without any sophisticated backing by countries like Iran. To which there are indications that they could have backed Hamas forces also in the today's attack. And if that is proven right, we could easily see this war escalating further, going beyond the territory of Israel and Palestine, and probably involving other countries in the neighborhood also. That includes Iraq, Syria, and Iran. And if that happens, the already ongoing war in Syria that has been going on for more than 1 decade, that could also complicate. I mean, other geopolitical nations could also intervene. We have already seen since the morning, ever since Israel has come under attack. The condemnation is coming from all countries, from Australia to UK, France, Germany. Every country has been condemning, and most of these countries have been NATO members. So it looked like West and NATO will be aligning with the problems of Israel right now. And in that case, the complication or the geopolitical complication in Israel and in the Gulf will be very difficult to handle.
Abhishek, I come back to the question that has been plaguing everyone ever since this attack began on wee hours of Saturday morning, and the fact of the matter remains that how could such a large-scale operation be conducted by a terrorist organization like Hamas? There are also unconfirmed reports talking about how militant fighters were sent out by Hamas from the Gaza Strip. They took off in the morning. You're looking at a barrage of close to 5,000 to 7,000 approximately rockets that were fired from the Gaza Strip. Questions are now being raised if this has been an intelligence failure on the part of Israel's government.
Well, Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, who has been, touted as one of the most fiercest defender of Israeli people and, kind of rightist nationalist, he will have a lot to answer after this whole chaos settles down, because as of now, Israel has positioned itself on the world stage as one of the most intelligent agencies, most capable agencies, who can avert any warlike situation which is unfolding currently in Israel, which can also support other countries in defending their national interests. So with this, the latest escalation that has happened, it is not just the Hamas rockets, the barrage of rockets that has fallen on Israel. It is also hundreds of numbers of Palestinians or the Hamas militants coming across Gaza Strip. They are attacking people. We have also seen people from parachutes. They are dropping on Israeli territory with weapons and trying to create a sense of panic. So entire operation seems well calculated and meticulously planned, and failure from the Israelis to sense something of this big is coming to them is clearly something that the Israeli government will have to answer.
And when we look at the Gaza Strip from where all these fighters have taken off, important to throw light on the larger political climate that surrounds West Bank politics. Because remember, now what President Mahmoud Abbas of Palestine has to say, that Palestine has all the right to defend itself. If we delve deeper into the politics of West Bank, for the benefit of our viewers, take us through why it is such a controversial settlement and has been for decades now. In fact, as far as Gaza is concerned, that too has been living under blockade for 15 years.
Well, we have seen Israelis in a way bit by bit taking over their space in Gaza Strip as well. They have been occupying West Bank for almost like more than a decade now, and the conflict has been largely from the Palestinian side terming Israelis as occupier forces or invaders, while Israelis are saying that they are trying to defend the people of Israel, and in a way they are trying to create those settlements. Many times we have in the past seen Israeli forces trying to evict Palestinians who have been living there, and kind of trying to settle Israeli people there. So the conflict, which has been going on for decades now, is taking shapes. Sometimes Israelis are being blamed for being occupied forces. Sometimes Palestinians, retaliating in terms of terrorist attacks on Israeli forces. So clearly, the sense of confusion in those regions has been massive, and that has resulted in a lot of civilian casualties also. And in a way, there is no political solution that one could see in the coming future, because the peace process, various type of peace process has happened. Intervention of US has also happened to negotiate a peace plan between
Right.
Israel and Palestine, but nothing has fructified in a way that could settle the conflict to broadly saying in a peaceful situation. And we have seen once in a while a few weeks of calmness, but there has always tension that is brimming. And the latest is a result of also weeks of flared up situation that has been ongoing between Palestinians and Israeli forces, and that has resulted finally to
All
the
right, stay
extent
with
where
us,
Israel has
Abhishek,
now
because
cleared.
we also have a host of reactions coming in. Remember, the situation is rapidly escalating, but Israel's defense mechanism has also kicked into action, because Israel is now trying through its Operation Iron Sword to in fact go and reclaim all those areas that have been currently occupied, or rather have been attacked by the Hamas agents as well. In the meantime, let's play out all those reactions that have come in, including that of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
We know that the entire country, your country, is going through tough times. I just want to know what is happening around you. Where are you? Are you safe? And what is the response of the security forces in Israel?
Sure. First of all, thank you for calling. So basically, this morning at around, I'd say 7 o'clock, we were woken up by the air raid sirens, which usually we have about a minute and a half to get to the bomb shelter in Tel Aviv. So we went into the shelters, and sometimes, over years we've got used to going to the shelters, but it was a bit of a surprise when we started hearing the news about Hamas terrorists infiltrating into the nearby communities near the Gaza Strip, and there's reports of kidnappings, of civilians being murdered. But at the moment, not a lot of news is being released by the press.
Okay.
Kind of seems like it's under censorship at the moment. I think until they can understand fully what the situation is. But,
Okay.
The last update that we had is they said that there are police and the army are clashing with the armed terrorists in 21 locations along the border.
Okay.
And the latest is 22 civilians, Israeli civilians, have been murdered and 540 wounded.
Okay. 22 citizens have been murdered and 540?
Yeah, 540 have been injured. They say quite a large amount of that are in critical condition, but as I say, the news coming out is relatively slow. I think it's taking some time for the authorities to fully understand the scale and scope of the attack.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחני נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון, הנחיתי קודם כל לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה. הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו. במקביל הוריתי לבצע גיוס מילואים נרחב ולהשיב מלחמה שערה בעוצמה ובהיקף שהאויב לא הכיר. האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו. אני קורא בינתיים לכל אזרחי ישראל להישמע בקפדנות להנחיות הצבא, להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו במלחמה ואנחנו ננצח בה.